Harry's wife smearing a dead monarch. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Harry's wife's narcissism is such that while she maintains a facade of overall I'm ever so nice, she repeatedly doesn't live up to it as a consequence of the things that she says and the things that she does. Many things in her past have been unearthed, and, as a consequence of the way that her narcissism is focused on them now, it creates these collateral consequences which results in her repeatedly being shown for what she is. Of course, she is unable to see this. And such is her need to pursue the prime aims and the way that her particular brand of narcissism works, it sees nothing wrong with throwing pelters towards a dead monarch. Yes, she smears the late Queen Elizabeth II. It's often stated one should not speak ill of the dead, but that's not going to apply to Harry's wife. Her narcissism and its form, pursuing the prime aims, doesn't see that as off limits. She has no emotional empathy. A more evolved form of narcissist would have the intellectual empathy, the cognitive empathy to realise that saying such things would not be appropriate in the still recent aftermath of the death of Queen Elizabeth II, who only passed away some 2.5 months ago. But not Harry's wife. After all, this is the Harry's Wife show, and she continues the assertion of control through the PR puff pieces, this time through the Daily Mirror. In an article by Rebecca Russell, it tells us, Queen's Christmas speech was the final straw for Harry's wife and Harry, says author. This is bringing up the past, it's smearing, and ultimately it's irrelevant. It's telling us something that we already know that doesn't need to be brought up, but of course Harry's wife will do so. The pro-Harry's wife publication, that is the Daily Mirror, states, Prince Harry and Harry's wife were reportedly convinced that the entire institution was against them, victim mentality, paranoia, during their time working in the royal family due to an unspoken code, paranoia. While there were a number of causes which ultimately contributed to their departure, it has been said that one key moment was the final straw and tipped them over the edge to step back from their roles within the firm. Ooh, what was this final straw? What was it that tipped them over the edge? Might it have been the fact that Prince Philip burst in and bopped Harry's wife on the nose and said, one steps out with actresses, one doesn't marry them, before kicking the Prince of Pink Pancakes in the old pink pods, thus flattening them to the pink pancakes? Or perhaps the Queen wandered in and said, you're never getting a fucking tiara ever again. I really don't like you, you piece of grifting dirt. Maybe Princess Anne got her in a chokehold and said, how dare you come in causing shit in my family? Maybe now King Charles, Prince Charles as he then was, wandered by and said to her, you can quit making eyes at me, missy. I'm hanging out the back of Camilla. I've no interest in you and your false teeth. Who knows? Could it be any of those things which sent Harry's wife over the edge? They're pretty incendiary things and quite perhaps would understandably cause her to wail and gnash her teeth and say, come with me, Ginger Poodle. We're going away over the sea to Canada for a new life, away from these awful and wretched people. Well, let us dive in further and find out. According to the biography Finding Freedom, and there you are, that tells you the quality of the information, Harry and Harry's wife were furious when a photograph of them and their new baby Archie was not included in the lineup of family portraits displayed on the Queen's desk during her Christmas message in 2019. Now, there's a couple of points that arise from this. First of all, it was well known that the gruesome twosome were already planning their exit by this point, and therefore, could this really be said to be the final straw, or is this just some revisionist history that's being applied? Quite possibly, and being brought up now to smear a dead monarch by saying, how dare you leave a photograph off the desk, and that you didn't include a photo of Archie and us, you terrible old woman, you. The second point is this. The photograph showed her father, her husband, and then the immediate heir, Charles and his wife, and then the heir after that, William and his wife and his family. Harry's not an immediate heir. Therefore, why be included? It was those that have been king and would be king alongside their spouses that were included. Did Princess Anne kick off? Did she get on a show horse and canter in to the relevant stateroom that the Queen was making the broadcast from and cause the horse to rear up and kick down the tree and say, "Mother, why isn't there a picture of me on there? This is the last straw. I'm off to live in the Falkland Islands away from you." Did Prince Andrew drop down the chimney, sporting a pair of comedy Gaza breasts, and yell, "But mother, why aren't I on the table as well with my offspring? Why isn't there a picture of old ginger bangers? Fergie there, with Beatrice and Eugenie. This is outrageous. I'm off to not molest any other underage women. Thank you very much." What about Prince Edward? Did he come in wearing an It's a Knockout outfit from many years ago, sobbing into his handkerchief, lamenting the fact that he and his wife and his children are not on there? No, none of them fucking did that. Do you know why? Because they knew better than to do so. That they didn't have the level of sense of entitlement that Harry's wife has, or a level of paranoia that Harry's wife has. Undoubtedly, because Harry's wife, paranoia and her narcissism were operating to ramp up her victim status, she will have nudged Ginger Bollocks as he was dozing there after downing some plum pudding and said to him, look, Ginger Bollocks, we're not on the picture. Some black and white guys there, don't know who he is. Prince Philip's on there. Your dad and Camilla are on there. And William, and Nemesis. And their crotch goblins are on there. Why isn't there a picture of me and you and Arch? We've been left out again. I told you your family's racist. They all hate us. They don't like us at all. Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. My royal princess. Oh, sorry, yeah. Terrible, bad grandma. Let's leave and go and live in Milton Keynes. No, you silly boy, we're going to Canada. It could well have happened like that. But the point is, there was no legitimate basis for complaint, but as you know, that's never going to stop a narcissist from making a song and dance about it. Not at the time, and of course, now bringing it up, sullying the memory of the Queen by accusing her of favouritism, when it was patently the case that it wasn't that at all. The article continues. Before they announced that they were stepping back from their roles as senior royals, Prince Harry and Harry's wife reportedly believed the royal family and senior staff were conspiring against them, paranoia, and trying to show that the monarchy was secure with or without them in the picture. While the wheels were already fully in motion for the pair to transform their royals, the final straw for the couple was reportedly when the Queen's 2019 Christmas speech aired. The late Queen usually gave her annual speech surrounded by touching pictures of her family members, either at Buckingham Palace or Windsor Castle. In 2019, there are images of King George VI, King Charles and the Queen Consort, the late Duke of Edinburgh, and the Prince and Princess of Wales with their 3 children. The biography, Finding Freedom, claims that the couple were irritated that no picture of them and their baby son Archie was visible on the desk as Her Majesty gave her speech. According to authors improbably named Omid Scobie and never been seen since the book came out, Carolyn Durant, who's died of embarrassment, Harry and Harry's wife felt they had long been sidelined by the institution and were not a fundamental part of its future. The authors wrote, one didn't have to look further than the family photos displayed during the Queen's speech on Christmas Day. In the green drawing room at Buckingham Palace, where the Queen delivered her address, viewers glimpsed photos of the Cambridges and their children, Charles and Camilla, Prince Philip, and a black and white image of George VI. Noticeably absent was a photo of Harry, Harry's wife, and their new baby, Archie. Also notably absent, as I pointed out, Prince Andrew, Fergie, Eugenie and Beatrice, Edward and Sophie and their children, Princess Anne and Commander Tim and her children. Other extended members of the royal family weren't there, but did they whinge and make a song and dance about it? No, they didn't, because they realised there was no basis to do so. The article continues, Palace sources insisted that the photos were chosen to represent the direct line of succession, but for Harry and Harry's wife it had been yet another sign that they needed to consider their own path, or rather, Harry's wife's paranoia is causing him to read things into it that simply aren't there. However, Harry and Harry's wife were not completely forgotten in the Christmas Day speech that year, as never-before-seen footage of the Queen and Prince Philip meeting Archie for the first time with Harry's wife and Harry's wife's mum, Doria Ragland, was included. So what on earth are they whinging about? Well, they are always going to do so, because her narcissism does that. Quick dip below the line to see what observations there are. Giles Henton observes, there's also no picture of the Queen's other children, except Charles. They don't seem to be offended by it. There are pictures of the previous monarch and the future kings. There's not enough room for everyone. How selfish to think that you should be there even when the rest of the Queen's children aren't. Please grow up. Here goes. Rubbish! Harry's wife had no intention of remaining in the UK beyond getting Harry to the altar and grabbing her royal title. During the period of their engagement, she had already set in motion her plan to do a runner. She had her business agent in California look into deals she and Harry could enter into once they abandoned their royal responsibilities. Unimpressed English person. Exactly. Make the silly move. Pay at least the £40 million the public paid back. She's made $68 million lying about the royal family and the people of this country and Commonwealth. Sophon 1957. Amazing how easy it is to offend the Harry's wife couple. Susba. They're always upset about something. Get over it. The pair have caused plenty of upset and are still at it. Nobody impressed with this whining and whinging, but also the fact that it's being brought up now, some 3 years later, again to sully the memory of the Queen by smearing her, which demonstrates once again the odious nature of Harry's wife's behaviour, but is unsurprising given her particular brand of narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.